Hi, everybody. Welcome back to SaaS Founders Stories. My name is David Brennan, and today I have Alex Agulyansky with Priz Gurus here today. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks a lot.
So, man, let's kick it in. Why don't you tell me about Priz Guru, what you guys do, give me a use case, and so we can understand what you're up to.
Right. So Priz Guru, we basically building something called engineering thinking platform, and professional services around it. And this platform and the entire methodology is designed to help organizations and engineering teams to solve complex problems, innovate, and eventually achieve competitive advantage in their space. And we're doing it through something called systematic and systemic methods, tools, and processes. Now, you were asking about the use case. There's many use cases to that. You can think about any incident or, when people trying to find root cause analysis or innovation flow or develop a new product, anything related to any sort of development, we're facing with problems, and especially engineering problems. Engineers, by definition, hired to solve problems, right? So this is the tools and methodologies to help them.
Okay, so if I was an engineer, how would I
Mhm.
use, like there's many types of engineers, so let's pick
Right.
one and just tell me how I would use it and how it would help me.
Right. So first of all, it's important to understand that the problem solving process, it's actually very heavily, it's a heavy cognitive process for human beings because there's a lot of information that we need to process. There's a lot of cognitive load that we are under when we're solving a particular problem, right? So I'll dive a little bit into the how, and how we do that using the platform is we helping people to understand the system and the problem space in detailed enough and break down this mess of information into small enough detail so we can make much more educated decisions by solving problems or coming up with innovative ideas, whatever it is involved in that process. Now, how would you do that? Usually, we trying to push people to open a project, and project would basically consist of everything under the sun in terms of that problem space, that particular problem space. And the more information you feed into the system helps you to break down that information in those details that I was talking about.
So what kind of
Uh,
information would I put in? Like
it
specifics.
starts,
If we had one, like think that for this one, uh, I'm engineering a new computer chip.
right,
So
right.
just using that example, how would we use your software?
So what does it mean producing a new computer chip? You effectively solving somebody else's problem, right? So you need to define what that problem is. And to define the problem, many call it the problem statement, right? Problem statement, it's one of these names. But problem statement really comes from many different pieces of information. It's like where we are today, what is it we're trying to achieve, and the gap in between, it's a problem statement. So usually this is where we start. Describe what we know, where we are, and then when you dive into defining the problem statement, which we also providing the process for that, uh, then you start defining what's your ideal goal, where you're trying to get to, what's the gaps that are preventing you from getting there in the first place. Because if nothing prevents you, there's no problem, right? So you need to define these things, and then you create what's called a problem statement, an official problem statement. From there, you're diving into the creative thinking tools. And creative thinking tools, it's something that allows us to think further about the systems, about the problem space, and generate new solutions. And then the entire process is about generating ideas, right? How you generate ideas. Many platforms out there, they focus on already pre-generated ideas or ideas that are coming from a crowd. We're actually dealing with a step before how the idea is getting generated and how the solution is getting generated in the first place, right? the
So
idea
would you have
management,
a
that's the next
framework?
step.
Like, is there frameworks in there or a system that would help me, like, using terms of just brainstorming out ideas on how you could possibly solve it? Is that kind of what you're saying in that step?
Yeah, so brainstorming, we need to be a little bit careful with that because brainstorming is something that we're actually trying to get away from. Brainstorming worked on fairly simple systems out there and simple problems. As the technology evolves, the problems becoming more complex, and just simple brainstorming is not going to cut it. So these additional tools that we're providing, first of all, yes, there is a methodology that existed for a while, and we piggybacked on that and developed it further and wrapped it with the actual software that provides these that supports these methodologies and the tools. And yes, the tools and methods they forces you to focus on a particular problem, organize your thought process, and eventually solve the problem properly.
Very cool. Very cool. And so who are you focused on selling to right now?
Right. So our main users are, of course, engineers, but the engineers not the ones who pay the bill. Um, the ones who pay the bill are usually their managers, VPs, C-suite, whoever makes the decision of how improve the engineering performance overall, right? But the main users are the engineers and engineering teams who work on the platform.
Very cool. So for you guys over the last 6 months, what's the
Right.
challenge that you want to talk about and you want to give us a little bit of an understanding of how you solved it so we can share that with the rest of the SaaS founders out there that are in the trenches with you?
Right. Um, One note, problem solving, it's a hard problem to solve by definition of it, right? The one of the challenges that we had with our customers that they viewed the problem solving space as when you have a problem, we'll come and get your help to solve it and then move on. That's not the case, right? If you think about it, problem solving exists everywhere, right? You're trying to improve process, you're trying to develop new product, you're trying to do root cause analysis on an incident. Everywhere you touch, you effectively dealing with some sort of problem that you need to solve, right? So that's the first thing that we needed to solve, saying, listen, when you're solving a particular problem, when you're facing on an incident, for example, great. But that's not the key. The key is actually doing that consistently all the time, because effectively you will be much more effective as an engineer all the time versus when something blows up, right? And realistically, the only way to solve it is by education, by educating our engineers who we work with, facilitating with projects with them, continuous education. It's a nonstop. I'm not saying we solved it once and for all. Again, it's one of these concepts that there is no one-time shot, one-time solution, and that's it. You move on. No, it's a consistent thing that you need to invest in and to make sure that people understand it, people understand the value of it and how to do that. And that's the path that we currently took.
And so how are you actually educating engineers on best practices of problem solving so that they can perform better and be more effective for teams?
Right. So there's several levels of educations that we provide. That's probably not the last version of that concept, but what we have today, it's a multiple levels. First of all, we're providing theory education of what problem solving even is, how you approach it, what kind of methodologies exist out there, right? So it's a more theoretical approach. Basically sit in a classroom and listen and do some small projects. The best approach, though, if people come with their own projects that, ideally something that they're already facing challenges with at their current job, and this is how we train them on their own project. That's something that showed the best results, because again, first of all, they're passionate about something that they work on. They want to solve it, and we helping them to solve it. We're not solving anything, we're facilitating, right? But by them producing better results with using the platform and using our help, this is how we get people very, very excited about the results that they're getting.
And so do you do those like in a one-on-one video meeting? How do you actually do the training with them?
It depends on the use case. Some of the enterprises, they will say, we don't want anyone around except our own employees. So we will organize sessions for them specifically for, 10, 15 people sessions. Or we have courses that we provide. They also listed on the website, and that's basically anyone to join, right?
And
Mhm.
go ahead. Sorry.
No,
I was just
go
going to
ahead.
say for those courses that you're delivering on your website,
Mhm.
are you using third-party delivery or do you make the courses yourself?
No, we're building the course ourselves and we're delivering them currently. It's manual process. We personally deliver them. Uh, there is a plan in the future to have a more self-onboarding process for easier use cases.
And so how do you get them into those? Because I kind of imagine that those courses are a bit of your sales process, or at least
Hmm.
like to increase usage in your system.
Hmm.
How do you get companies or users to take those courses and how do you get them out in front of people in industry?
Right. So when we have the conversation the with any organization, right? First question that they ask, or first thing that they worried about is change management, right? Now they need to take their entire team and do something different with them, and like how do they do that? They need to disrupt their day-to-day operations. Like, what's the process? So this is where the training actually comes in. What we're trying to explain, what we're trying to convey every time is don't, you don't need to break down the process that you currently have. Let's continue with the work that you're currently doing, but together with that, we'll deliver the training. And that's the concept of instead of going to some course and, getting a stamp, a check mark, I did the course. Let's actually continue working on what you're working on today, but together with that, we'll facilitate and deliver the training together with it.
Very cool,
So we
man.
kind of having an engineers trained and remove the worry of the managers in terms of change management.
Very cool. So for you guys, what's the big hurdle that you're looking to overcome in the next 6 months?
Right. I kind of touched on that a little bit. It's the now we went deep into problem solving needs to be involved in every stage of development, in any stage of development, and any stage of like day-to-day life. But now it's everywhere, right? So instead of just when you work, it actually applies everywhere in your life, whether it's at home, whether it's in your workplace, whether it's in whatever, where you volunteering, it doesn't matter, right? Everywhere, it doesn't matter what you touch in one way or another, you need to solve a problem. Doesn't necessarily mean engineering problem, but there is a problem to solve all the time. And that's, I guess, our next goal. We still don't have a good solution for that, again, except education. But in this case, education, when we're talking about engineering organizations, we already have the conversation with them where when we're trying to target everything under the sun, that's a little bit more difficult because we're not targeting these people as our clients in the first place. But we still need to deliver them this notion of problem solving it exists everywhere. How are we going to solve it? I still don't know, but probably a lot of written material, a lot of content marketing, a lot of education this way.
Very cool. So what's one thing that the our listeners can help you with?
Well, spread the word, right? What we found out in the last couple of years that we were working on it, this is a completely, I must say, new concept of problem solving as a thing, right? Usually, every engineer is a problem solver, but what does it actually mean? We can actually teach everyone what does it actually mean and provide the tools and methods for it. So spreading the word, and happy to help to use the platform as well and get feedback. That's probably the biggest thing that we can leverage right now, is to get feedback from other people, other engineers, how they would use the platform. That would be amazing.
Perfect. Well, there you have it. Thank you very much, Alex, for coming on, and good
Thanks,
luck.
David.
And can't wait to watch you over the next 6, 12 months, see how you get along.
Yeah, thanks a
Have a
lot.
great day.